Good afternoon. I'm François Deschelles from TechLib. And first, a few words about TechLib. We're a free and open source software editor, providing only open source software. We have a business model that is a kind of Red Hat based on annual subscription, providing services and support. And we have a large user community. And we also have a large number of international partners in more than 10 countries. And I will present some actual developments of the GLPI project. GLPI is a gestion libre de parc informatique. And you will easily guess that it's a project that started in France, in fact, a long time ago, and it has a large community. OW2 gave GLPI an award 2 years ago, so thank you again. And GLPI is an ITSM, which stands for Information Technology Service Management Solution. That is, it provides first management of IT assets, which can be computers, servers, network equipments, but also software licenses and so on. It integrates a help desk with a ticketing system. It has an inventory and with two possible agents. One is Fusion Inventory, and the other is OCS Inventory. It can also manage a mobile fleet of phones and tablets using a separate solution that is called Flive MDM, which connects to GLPI. And it's very modular. It has a plugin system with a very large number of plugins. And TechLib now leads a project and started 4 years ago. That's a view of GLPI interface. It shows the data center plugin, where you can manage servers, rack, network equipment inside the data center. Showing, for instance, the exact location inside the data center, plus some real-time statistics. The first development we have started recently is about automation. The problem is that when you administer a information system, you have very repetitive tasks, such as configurations, deployment, maintenance, and so on. And this task must be automated. And there are several tools to manage that, for instance, Chef, Puppet, or CFE Engine. And there's one which we consider superior to the others, which is Red Hat Ansible, because it can be agentless, which means that you don't need to deploy an agent on all the computers that you want to on which you want to automate the task. And it's based on a declarative format using YAML files. And some Ansible concepts. First, Ansible needs an inventory, and that makes an easy connection with GLPI. An inventory is not a flat list, but a tree with a host and groups. On these inventories, you can run playbooks. Playbook is a YAML file which contains a certain number of tasks, which can either be, for instance, install a web server, configure a database, also provision a new virtual machine, and so on and so on. And the tasks are based on modules. There's a huge number of modules which are developed in Python. And what is interesting is that modules are idempotent. That is, you can run them as many times as you want. They will always give the same result. That is, if you run the module twice, the second time will not reinstall or destroy everything. It will simply do nothing if the first step succeeded. So now the connection, well, as GLPI provides an inventory using Fusion inventory or OCS inventory, but also possible manual inventory, it could be interesting to connect GLPI to Ansible so that you can use GLPI as the inventory source for Ansible playbooks. But the second interesting possibility, which needs, in fact, the first possibility, is to be able to run Ansible playbooks, that is to automate your administration from GLPI. There's already a solution like that, developed by Red Hat. Unfortunately, it's proprietary. It's called Ansible Tower. So what we're trying to develop is kind of, let's say, Ansible Tower for the poor, but with some joke, because it may be not, at the end, not really for the poor. And the goal is to provide the seamless integration of Ansible and administrative tasks inside GLPI with all the playbooks maintained inside a Git repository. And this will be available very likely at the end of this year. Second topic we are working on that takes place inside a research project funded by the European Community. It's about cybersecurity. So you have, on one side, you have inventory of assets, like computers, systems, libraries, and on the other side, you have inventory of vulnerabilities. And what is done by security people inside a company or an organization is that they must manage these vulnerabilities, which is in fact a complicated process, which is described in this white paper from the SANS Institute. It's a quite old paper, but it's still worth reading, and describes in detail the process of vulnerability management, which starts by, good chance, an asset inventory. And then, after that, you manage vulnerability information. You assess the risks that it represents for your information system. And at the end, you try to remediate these vulnerabilities and plan your response. The process is not easy to completely automate, but there are some remarks that I quote from this white paper by the founder of Forefront Security, which is a company that has been now bought by Symantec. And he says, there are many organizations I have consulted who lack an effective asset inventory. And without an asset inventory, how are the systems and network engineering groups supposed to sift through security alerts and know which ones apply to them and which can be discarded? The fact is that the security alerts, there are a lot of them every day. And it's what called the vulnerability information sources, which are provided, for instance, by computer emergency response teams, by the NVD, which is a National Vulnerability Database maintained in the US, or the Internet Storm Center. The fact is that these vulnerabilities are described in a not so formalized data format that is determining automatically which vulnerability applies to which machines in your information system is not an easy task. And that's a goal we are targeting, that is based on GLPI inventory of your assets, and in the inventory you have a version number of your Linux kernel, you have a list of all the installed software with their version, and so on and so on. So you can decide, based on this information, on the other side, on the vulnerability information, what assets are vulnerable and which action you must take. And it will create, in fact, a GLPI search that is stored so that you can replay the scan anytime you want. for instance, when you install a new machine or when you do a software upgrade. And it will generate GLPI tickets for the help desk so that administrators are informed automatically that there are some segments of the information that is vulnerable. And that's an illustration. On the left, you have a description of a vulnerability as a JSON format. On the right, you have a GLPI search that corresponds to this vulnerability, and the result of the search is the set of machines which are supposed to be vulnerable. And last topic is about green IT. In fact, I'll start with a quote from the SHIFT project. The SHIFT project is a French think tank advocating the shift toward a post-carbon economy. And the SHIFT project issued a report called Lean Information and Communication Technology Toward Digital Sobriety Report, where they outline some, would say, inconvenient truths. That's why the background of the slide. And for instance, the fact is that the direct energy footprint for information technologies, including both the production and the use of equipments, increases by 9% per year. And clearly, here we have a problem. The fact is that addressing this problem is not that easy, because the first step must be measure how many power you consume, and there's in fact no real standards how to obtain from a server or a network equipment or something that consumes power, how much power it consumes, and in almost real time. So for instance, for servers, you have SNMP or IPME. PDU is a power distribution unit. It's a connected set of power plugs that some of them support SNMP. And so you need an agent which will upload to the server, to the GLPI backend, the energy consumption of all your equipments. The goal is to be able to answer some questions and to do some measurements like power consumption, load average, and so on, do some statistics. For instance, to detect when machines are idle, which servers are underloaded, to make simulations. Let's say, for instance, what if I power down these machines automatically from 6 p.m. to 9 a.m.? What is my global CO2 emission given the French energy profile, which by chance is very carbon-free? And define some policies and management decisions. And we are setting up a collaboration with PowerFreeze, which is an already existing but not very widely used application to manage the power consumption of an IT system. And thank you very much. If you have any questions.